Woman nearly loses her life when a shopping trip turns frightening.
And a desperate plea what thieves stole from this woman that she says has more than monetary value.
Plus, unreliable power. People who live in one metro area neighborhood say their utility service is becoming a problem and costing them. How authorities are responding today. Good morning, everybody. Welcome along. KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Adam Atchison.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Krista Gutierrez. Today is Monday, January 18th, the beginning of work week for some. Some of you have today off.
Sure. And Kristen Curry's watching what we can expect as far as the weather goes outside. Beautiful weekend out there. Just a little windy, right?
Yeah, a little bit on the breezy side yesterday, but at least we got some sunshine and warmer temps. Same kind of day today, except less wind. Now, when it comes to those temperatures this morning, we're down to about 28 degrees, but the winds are calm at this hour, and you'll notice across the state, majority of us waking up to 20s, but we still have some colder temps in the teens out over Farmington, Gallup, and Grants, 30s out to the south in TRC and Las Cruces. So it'll take a little while for that warm up to kick in, but we're still looking at those upper 40s to low 50s this afternoon. Sunshine to start, more clouds on the way for the later part of this evening and overnight as a weak storm scrapes New Mexico, and we are looking at some snow chances as early as tonight. Here in the metro, those showers will be hard to come by, but for the north and northwest, you guys actually have some snow chances not only tomorrow, but Wednesday as well. So not totally quiet this week. I'll break down that entire 7-day forecast for you, and we'll also take a look at those numbers here in just a few minutes.
And we start with news happening now. People living in a Rio Rancho neighborhood are getting frustrated with their electricity.
And it's been like that since November, and they say things aren't getting any better. People living in Northern Meadows say they've been experiencing constant brownouts, making it hard for them to do simple things like cooking. Some of the people that we spoke with say they tried reaching out to PNM about the problems, but couldn't get a straight answer on what was going on. Cooking is not the only inconvenience. One family says the brownouts are costly.
But am I going to spend, $100 a pop for a surge protector for every appliance I have in my home because I can't trust the power grid to be?
The Overton family says that they've already had to replace their microwave because of the power problems. PNM did not get back with us about what's been going on in that neighborhood, but on Facebook, they did tell several customers a faulty line is to blame and that crews were out fixing it over the weekend. On
to this, a man who deputies say ran from them after a traffic stop is behind bars this morning. Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies say 27-year-old Santiago Gallegos was a passenger in a stolen vehicle. They pulled over near 12th and Manal Saturday night. A woman was driving. Deputies say during the stop, the two sped away. They chased them to the west side where they spotted Gallegos on foot. A canine was then brought in, and to find him hiding in someone's backyard. Deputies did eventually find the stolen car. They are still searching for the woman who was driving this morning.
The search for a man who went missing while hunting for treasure in Santa Fe continues this morning, but searchers say they have found his dog. Santa Fe police say Randall Bilyeu was last seen on January 4th. Police say his SUV was found at the end of Buckman Road in an area typically used for hiking and rafting. About 9 miles down the river, his dog was found along with an inflatable raft. The New Mexican reports that he may have been looking for Collector Forrest Fenn's hidden treasure chest. The New Mexico Search and Rescue Team is handling the search for Bilyeu right now this morning.
On to this, the I-25 southbound flyover to I-40 eastbound is back open this morning after a crash yesterday. Police are now conducting a DWI investigation to determine if alcohol was a factor. At this time, no word on how many cars were involved or any injuries reported. The investigation into how this happened still underway.
6:03 now. A New Mexico artist is trying to pick up the pieces this morning after thieves stole her most valuable piece of art, a piece that took her months to create and a lot of courage. Gabriela Hernandez is part of the LGBTQ community. She's also an undocumented immigrant. The 23-year-old turned to art as a way to express herself. She created 6 banners, each 3 by 6 feet tall, to tell her story. It's called the Jutiera Undocumented Tour. But over the holidays, Hernandez says thieves broke into her home, taking off with her electronics, furniture, family photos, and that precious piece of art.
They meant a lot. They meant the world to me. And so I keep telling myself, I'm like, I really hope those people, really needed it.
Hernandez is now planning on remaking the banners, but it won't come cheap. She started a GoFundMe page to try to pay for it. We've posted a link to that website through ours at krqe.com.
Developing this morning, a creative idea is brewing at UNM, and officials say they're hoping it will save millions of gallons of water every year in Albuquerque. Construction will soon begin on a new pipeline that will connect the UNM Lomas chiller plant to the North Golf Course. That means instead of going into the wastewater system, water from the main campus will be used to irrigate the fairways, trees, and native plants there.
In 20 years, this project alone will save over 300 million gallons for the city of Albuquerque. And combined with the sprinkler system that was done 2 years ago, we're looking at over 1 billion gallons in water savings over the next 20 years.
The $500,000 project is being funded by state capital outlay funds. Construction should be done by May. On to this developing story this morning. Political critics are all abuzz about last night's Democratic presidential debate.
Democratic presidential candidates Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders went toe-to-toe on gun control. Martin O'Malley, on the other hand, struggled to be heard. News 13's Sarah Yingling is in the Newsplex with more on what happened. Sarah?
Adam Clinton and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders clashed on a number of issues, starting with gun control. Clinton slammed Sanders for voting with NRA and for reversing his position on immunity for gun manufacturers. But Sanders pointed to his lifetime rating of D- with the gun lobby.
He voted for immunity from gun makers and sellers, which the NRA said was the most important piece of gun legislation in 20 years.
I think Secretary Clinton knows that what she says is very disingenuous.
The two also went head-to-head on fiscal policy and health care reform. Sanders argued health care is a right for every man, woman, and child. Clinton sounded off on overhauling the existing health care plan, warning that tearing down the Affordable Care Act and starting from scratch is the wrong call. Former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley was also on stage and had a tough time getting a word in.
I don't think there's been a single debate where we left people saying they heard too much from Martin O'Malley.
A new poll gives Clinton a big lead nationwide over both Democratic rivals, but Sanders isn't impressed. He says he's winning in the New Hampshire polls and is tied in Iowa, where voters are set to caucus in just 2 weeks. Back to you.
It's coming up quick. Thanks, Sarah. Bernie Sanders, by the way, was the most popular name on Twitter and Facebook, according to reps from both companies. South Carolina holds the first Democratic primary in the South on Saturday, February 27th. Police in St. Louis this morning are investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting. Authorities say the robbery suspect, believed to be in his 50s, had just robbed a KFC restaurant. A witness flagged down a police sergeant and alerted him to the holdup. Authorities say the sergeant opened fire after the suspect raised a handgun and refused an order to drop the weapon. The officer is said to be doing okay this morning.
Also this morning, the search continues for 12 Marines after 2 helicopters they were riding in apparently collided off Hawaii last week. They're still missing. Search is now in its 4th day. Searchers have been scouring the waters off Oahu's north shore, but have been hampered by rough seas and high waves. The missing Marines range in age from 41 to 21.
Broncos fans around the country and here in New Mexico are celebrating a big win this morning.
We're coming for you, New England.
And we were out at Spectators last night watching the second half of the game against Pittsburgh yesterday. The Broncos were able to come back in the second half, exciting fans everywhere, and we even spotted some Dallas supporters cheering on the team.
Most definitely. My Cowboys are out for the season, but I'm going to support the Denver Broncos all the way.
All right, more fans. There you go. The win means it'll be the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game next week. The game kicks off right here on KRQE News 13 at 1 o'clock.
Okay, look at this new video this morning. Shows a car smashing into an Australian gas station, nearly hitting that one right there you see. Just walking inside. The accident was caught on surveillance cameras. It looks like the woman is hit. The car actually misses her, narrowly misses her. Meanwhile, store workers were able to jump in quickly to pull the people inside the car out to safety. Take a look again. There's a woman walking. Here's the crash. Barely missing her. Yeah, the people inside the car, they were taken to the hospital for treatment this morning. Police are investigating to see what caused the crash and whether alcohol was a factor in this. But that's terrifying video.
Yeah, it is way too close of a call there. And you can see the clerk standing behind the counter going, what happened here? All of a sudden, definitely people were shocked in there. And for good reason.
If she would have been, maybe just a few more steps.
I know. It's hard to think. You don't want to think about that, right?